Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I miss you guys so much. It's been a big transition working at home and not going to school every day and seeing you guys and getting to talk with you and talk about your days and what's going on with you. So, just want to give a big shout out to all you guys that I miss you. And if you want to post anything on Google Classroom, you totally can. Um, and we'll do another Zoom. Might do one on what's tomorrow, Thursday. Maybe we'll do one tomorrow. I'll think about that a little bit more. I have to plan around Emerson's schedule because she's been very needy recently. But anyway, let's jump right into it. I want to go over what we did yesterday. I was reviewing your answers. I get a spreadsheet, so I've been going over and just trying to make sure that everybody is where they need to be. Some of you guys did just like a fantastic job. The answers were in depth. You presented information in a way that showed me that you knew what you were talking about and you understood predator prey relationships and you understood the impact that the wolves had on the park. Others of you guys, I just really want you to make sure that even though we're at home, just really try your best because I know what you guys are capable of. So if you're typing a one word answer, I know that's probably not your best. Okay, I want you to try because through these activities, you're showing me that what you're reading, you are understanding and you are learning and you are getting. All right, so just jumping into it. Reintroducing the wolves. The first question is how many wolves were reintroduced in Yellowstone into 1995 to 1996? If you go through and read, we've got 14 here. We've got 6. We've got 11. Another 6. And then, yep. So altogether, that should equal 41. I think I found all the wolves in here. I would have to go back and really read, but and then 10. Yeah, there's the other 10. So altogether, that will equal 41 because it's asking from 95 to 96, not just about that first pack, but about all of the different wolves that are brought in from those dates. All right, so explain the role that wolves had in helping scavengers find food. So, with the wolves, they're going to go out, they're going to kill. Then the scavengers are reliant upon the elk and deer and bison that die. So, what they're going to do, the wolves are going to leave carcasses behind. And those carcasses are going to get picked over by ravens and vultures and all those different bird scavengers, mainly in that area. Ravens are a big one, crows. But they're going to feed on that prey that's left behind because they can smell it from a mile away. Was your prediction correct about the ecosystem changes after the wolves were reintroduced in Yellowstone? Explain. So that was just going off of your prediction uh, from the other day. You made a prediction and had to say what you thought, and so you just basically, some people didn't remember, and that's okay. And they just kind of came back and said yes or no, kind of made up an answer, and that's all right. It's hard to remember sometimes what we do day to day, especially when we have a lot of assignments. But ultimately, yes, these wolves had a huge impact, and that goes back to a video we watched called "How the Wolves Changed the Rivers," and it's a great way to understand how wolves impact different environments. And actually, you're gonna watch that today. That video today. All right. Now the other part. Okay, let's go through the rest of these. All right, wolves and beavers are known as keystone species. This means that their presence in an ecosystem is very important for other animals as well as the health of the ecosystem itself. As we've seen in Yellowstone, if one or two keystone species are taken out of the ecosystem, many changes take place. Can you think of another keystone species in Yellowstone? So you would have to go and you would have to either research or based off of the reading, really mostly any species could be a keystone species unless you're talking about an invasive species, like let's say a lionfish. Um, it would be an example of an invasive species. They are not native to Florida and off the Florida coast, but they are from China. They've been brought here, they reproduce, they have no natural predators. So, really, if we took them out of the ecosystem would improve. Um, you could say for non-keystone species, if the landscape of Yellowstone is overrun with wildflowers, if you just took out one variety of wildflower, it would probably be okay. Uh, Now the elk, keystone species for sure. Bison, not so much because there's not as many bison out there, so they're not going to do as much for the environment. The elk, though, we saw that, you know, if their populations get too low, the predators could starve. If their populations are too high, then they will starve because they're eating everything. So they would definitely be an example. In recent years, the wolf population within Yellowstone Park has decreased due to disease, hunting by humans, and wolves killing other wolves. The total is around 80 wolves in the park, down from as many as 174 in 2003. Perhaps this is the correct balance of wolves to keep Yellowstone healthy. Explain why too many wolves could be a problem. Now, somebody put it on their form, and they said survival of the fittest is a great explanation for this because the fittest wolves that were able to survive and overcome disease, hunting, and were more dominant wolves, they were maybe an alpha or just a very strong wolf, they were able to survive and then pass on those traits. So that would be a great example. But wolves could be a problem in Yellowstone, too many wolves, because they're just eating all the food source. You can't have an overabundance of a predator. Predators are the top of the food chain. And if you've seen our trophic pyramids, and we're going to talk about those more today, actually, but if you've seen a trophic pyramid, producers are at the bottom, and there's so many producers. But as you go up to the top, it gets more narrow. It's a pyramid. So by the time you get to the top and you get to a top predator, um, there's not going to be as many. You don't want an abundance of predators. Um, okay, so that's just going over this portion, Yellowstone Part 2. Now let me go over today's assignment.